So I designed another fancy little 3D printed part, and those are some of my early iterations. The problem I found was the screw holes would split apart because I'm using, dang it, I'm using fairly thin walls, and I'm screwing fan screws into those to hold the fan to it. And I also found that the mounting to the little flat portion here just wasn't strong enough and ended up snapping pretty easily. So I tested some different things, beefing it up and adding material. I believe this one just determined it was too flimsy, so it cracked in different ways. Also, I tried printing these in a different orientation. So these original prints were printed flat like this, and these test prints, I guess I printed them like this. So the layer lines changed directions. I was testing to see if the layer lines being in a different direction would work better. Problem is, it would, rather than splitting this way, it would just split from this flat portion here. So I didn't have very good luck with that. And this is one of my second to last designs. And basically I kept widening these space around the screw hole, and I also made the screw hole recessed so there'd be more material. But as you can see, if my darn camera would focus, there's a fine crack right there. And same on the other side, on the right. Right there you can see. It's pretty hard to see. I could probably spread this apart and make it worse. See how it's split. And what I've come up with is this final design where I basically carry that bar all the way across. The files that I release, I'm going to have to reinforce a little bit more, I think, because I did get a little crack right there on the other side of the screw, so go figure. I think I'm going to add another 2 millimeters on each side of the outside of the screw mounts, because there's about 5 millimeters there. But overall, I mean, the design's mostly okay. It's not perfect. There's other designs that do similar things on Thingiverse that don't hold up as well, from what I can gather, because the walls are so thin. I think they work for people. It's just I think people don't notice that these spots crack. But basically, the purpose of this is to mount in a 2U server case. And I'll put the model in the description, but this is like a P-Link 2U case. It screws in on top of the PCI slot covers. So I'm just going to add a screw like this. And it gives me the ability to blow air on a heatsink. I kind of wanted this to be angled so it would blow the air diagonally towards the front, since this, or not the front, towards the back, since this exhausts out the back of the case. But I didn't really want to do the hard work of figuring out how to angle that and stuff. Probably wouldn't be that hard, but I just figured straight lines is easy to work with. But yeah, so if there's a card right here, like a PERC H810 RAID controller, it'll blow cool air on the heatsink rather than having to mount a fan to it. And I wanted this so it would also circulate the air more, because if you put a tiny fan on something like this GPU here, so like this GPU, this fan's obviously going to cool the heatsink, but air is going to kind of stagnate in this area unless something's displacing it. So I wanted to go with a bigger 80mm fan so it would move more air basically while cooling the RAID controller. And basically when you print this, you're probably going to want to print it flat like this. If you print it sideways like this, this overhang obviously will stick out too far. You could actually just, it's not really necessary. but I found that this tab is actually stronger if it's printed flat than on an angle. Like, this will still hold on, but you get the layer lines like that that'll snap. So I kind of like the strength. It's kind of one of those things where you have to compromise, and you might be able to maybe get a little bit better results printing it like some weird angle and then just have printing supports under it. But I found that printing it flat seems to be pretty good. I just need to I put it in there, it's screwed in. I just need to reinforce these on the outsides of the fan basically a little bit more, I think, to ensure they're stronger. But yeah, kind of a long-winded explanation, but this will be going on Thingiverse at the same time you see in this video, so I'll have a link in the description for that, and thanks for watching.